Pressure's rising as we count down to Iowa, 18 days from today. We begin with senior national correspondent John Roberts. He's live in North Charleston, South Carolina. John, as we begin with you, how much is riding on this debate tonight?
Well, Bill, let me just say that instead of a leisurely lunch, I think the campaigns and the candidates are going to spend the day sharpening their knives, at least based on what we've seen in the campaign trail over the last few weeks. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of interest in tonight's debate. This is the second last time for voters in Iowa to get to see all of the candidates on the same stage at the same time. And in Iowa, things remain very fluid. A new Des Moines Register poll now has Ted Cruz and Donald Trump locked in a dead heat. Ted Cruz losing 6 points from the last Register poll, and 56% of voters say they can still change their minds. So Donald Trump is trying to retake the lead in Iowa by playing the birther card, questioning whether Cruz is even eligible to be president because he was born in Canada and until very recently held Canadian citizenship.
Ted's been really nice until the last couple of days. You got a little problem, you know, you got to sort of make sure you can run. You got to make sure you can run. A lot of lawyers say you can't run if you do that. You can't be born in Canada. I'm not going to get into it tonight. I'm sure they'll get into it tomorrow night.
I'm not going to get into it tonight, even though he did get into it, but he's promising to get into it this evening at the debate. Cruz also fending off reports, Bill, that he failed to properly disclose some loans that he had from big Wall Street banks for his Senate campaign back in 2012 after saying to voters he was distancing himself from Wall Street banks. Cruz said it was simply a filing error. He's going to correct it.
Well, the other big feud that has developed, and it's quite obvious, that's Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio. Two guys from the same zip code in Florida. What's happening on that front?
Yep. And both of whom would love to win Florida as well, because that could be the ticket to the nomination. It's really being driven more, I think, Bill, by Jeb Bush's campaign and his super PAC. They're taking aim at everything and clever ads and some not so clever. Marco Rubio's changing positions on immigration, even the floor-shine boots that he was seen wearing not too long ago. But some establishment Republicans are warning Bush to back off on Rubio. The attacks could damage the candidate who's most likely to take out Trump and Cruz. Rubio told me the ads run counter to what Bush had promised in this campaign.
Jeb got into saying he was going to be joyful about the campaign. If they've decided they're going to tear people down, that's what they're going to do. You know, it'll reflect on them. I'm going to focus on the future of America. If there are policy differences, we're going to talk about them.
Yeah, and the moderators, too, Neil Cavuto, Maria Bartiromo, want to keep it focused on policy. But, Bill, after what we've been seeing on the campaign trail since the last debate and just since the beginning of the new year, I think the candidates are going to be itching to take each other on that stage.
One last question, John. In the first debate that starts at 6 o'clock, you have three on stage. What is the possibility, what is the talk about a breakout when Huckabee won Iowa in 2008? He's been to all 99 counties yet again in this campaign alone. And you have, you know, Rick Santorum, who was neck and neck with Mitt Romney just 4 years ago, and Carly Fiorina, who has clearly made a name for herself. When she gets in these debates, you know, what's the forecast for that one?
Oh, boy, Bill, that's a lot of questions all at once. I think everybody's going to try, if not to get back on the main stage. Carly Fiorina certainly would one last time before Iowa. You know, they're all going to appeal to their constituencies. Huckabee and Santorum know how to win Iowa. Polls show them way back, well out of it. But, you know, you just never know, because at this point in the race, in 2012, Newt Gingrich was way out in front, came fourth in Iowa. Rick Santorum won, but because of the crazy situation with delegates, Ron Paul eventually won at the convention. But I think there's an opportunity for them to do well, and if they do well in Iowa, they're going to take votes away from Ted Cruz. So Cruz has got to protect his flank as well. Very dynamic situation going on now.
Agreed. Thanks. Good stuff. Thank you, John Roberts in South Carolina.